A panel that advises the federal government on the US dietary guidelines for Americans, which are released every 5 years by the US Department of Agriculture and Health and Human Services, recently released a new recommendation that men consume no more than one alcoholic drink per day. Previous guidelines had set two as the limit. The recommendation for women, one drink per day, remains the same. Alcohol is a necessary item or poison for humans all over the world. It is mandatory to enjoy a drink at the end of the day, to wind down, or at gatherings to relax and enjoy the company at functions, weddings, celebrations, and so on. Just imagine what a party would be without alcohol. It would be like a pub with no beer. Throughout the 10,000 or so years, humans have been drinking their own fermented brews. They were then hunter-gatherers, and at the end of the day, a homemade brew would have relaxed them to enjoy with their families. So, alcohol could be a tonic, or when abused, could be a poison. All depends how much you want to drink. With all good intentions, you start with one a day. But with time, that one may not be sufficient to relax, and the second drink gets into your normal habit of drinking. This is where the trouble starts. Alcohol has its further benefits in addition to social events. It is said that there may be benefits from moderate consumption of alcohol to chronic diseases, to lower the rates of cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, gallstones, dementia, among others. The French paradox is that was announced in late 1980s summarized the apparently paradoxical epidemiological observation that French people have a relatively low incidence of coronary heart disease while having a diet relatively rich in saturated fats and drinking lots of wine instead of water, in apparent contradiction to the widely held belief that the high consumption of such fats is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Play the devil with the bottle, freedom in the bar. When you're broke, don't worry, sell your lovely car. The new panel of health experts advises the US government that even small amounts of alcohol have been linked with several types of cancer. Why blame alcohol when there are so many other predisposing factors for cancer, and a moderate amount of alcohol drinking does not seem to be a factor? Excessive habitual drinking can kill a man with cirrhosis of the liver before he gets cancer. Professor Eric Rim of the Department of Epidemiology and Nutrition, who headed the panel that created the 2010 guidelines recommendations, states August 5, 2020 article in Wine Spectator that the current committee got it wrong and was overly conservative about their advice for adults that drink moderately can control their consumption and do not binge drink.
When you're broke, don't worry, sell your lovely car on the jolly caravan.
Alcoholic beverages may contribute to weight gain, including belly fat. Alcoholic drinks contain calories but usually no nutrients, and drinking can impair judgment that can lead to poor food choices, among other things. Drinking in excess causes many health problems. Reduce or eliminate alcoholic beverages for a smaller belly and better health overall. Those who are on medication for high blood pressure has to be very cautious in drinking any alcohol. Are you on a beta blocker for high blood pressure? Alcohol will decrease the effects of such drugs and your blood pressure may go out of control. Those who have had a heart attack and being treated for heart failure or having irregular heart rhythm should really avoid strong drinks. Those who are on angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors called ACE to control high blood pressure have to be careful too. Alcohol overreacts with ACE inhibitors and may lower the blood pressure to dangerous levels. Of course, if you take these drugs in the morning, having a drink late at night may not react to a serious situation. When your blood pressure drops to too low, the brain may not get sufficient blood and you'll feel dizzy and faint, and that wouldn't be fun when you're enjoying with friends at a party. Those ladies on birth control pills should be very careful in consuming over 1 glass of alcohol. Alcohol seems to get detoxified in the liver at a slower rate and may have a double effect. Should diabetics drink alcohol? 1 or 2 drinks of alcoholic beverage will increase the blood sugar level. More drinks will actually decrease your blood sugar. Beer and wine contain carbohydrates and may raise blood sugar. Alcohol stimulates your appetite, which can cause you to overeat and may affect your blood sugar level. If your diabetes is well controlled, an occasional drink may be beneficial. You must check with your doctor whether an occasional drink or two is safe for you. Consuming alcohol among diabetics drops the blood sugar level and dehydrates you. This reaction may last for 24 hours. You need to eat some food with carbs like rice and curry after consuming alcohol. If you're on metformin, you need to be very careful drinking alcohol. It tends to cause a serious condition called lactic acidosis, where lactic acid level in the blood could rise. You end up in a coma and need to be hospitalized immediately. Some of the oral drugs used for diabetes like glimepiride and sulfonylurea can interact with alcohol and lower your blood sugar level. A study done in 2011 by Harvard University of 38,000 middle-aged adult men found that drinking 1 or 2 beers a day would reduce the chance of developing type 2 diabetes by 25%. Do not confuse these findings with those having diabetes. The alcohol contained in the beer increases the drinker's sensitivity to insulin, which has the result of helping to prevent the onset of diabetes. The best alcoholic drink that has fewer calories and carbs for diabetes is light beer and dry wines. It is best to avoid neat liquor. As I said earlier, only one drink per day. Now, drugs used for acid reflux. Drugs used for GERD, those who suffer from gastric reflux of acid and heartburn should avoid even one alcoholic drink. Alcohol in such people can erode the stomach lining, cause gastritis, and even cause bleeding. Those suffering from stomach ulcers should avoid alcohol totally. Painkillers, sometimes over-the-counter drugs like Panadol and alcohol can cause liver damage. Aspirin and ibuprofen are considered safe. Drinking should be avoided if you're on prescription drugs for pain like Vicodin and Oxycontin. Never drink alcohol when you're on narcotics. Antidepressants and alcohol will slow down the central nervous system and impair your thinking and alertness. Some are on Zoloft and Prozac. These antidepressants react with alcohol adversely, and it is best not to take drugs when going for an evening party. Now let's talk about statins. Almost every adult is on statins to reduce lipids in your blood. Statin causes liver damage as a side effect, and drinking alcohol will damage the liver further. The damage is not noticeable immediately. There are no symptoms in the early stages, and you tend to have the extra one at a party. There are many other drugs that interact with alcohol. It is best to avoid any drug that interacts with alcohol on a festive evening, provided you monitor your symptoms during the day, such as checking your blood pressure if you have hypertension. You need to drink a lot of water after drinking alcohol. It is dehydration that causes immediate damage. Keep sipping water during the night every time you wake up, and that could make you feel better on the next morning. The present study suggested that people who drink just a little one drink each day at most appear to have lower cardiovascular risk, stroke and diabetes than both people who drink more and people who not drink alcohol at all. Beer drinking has its advantages. 10 surprising health benefits of drinking beer daily are that it protects your heart from the cardiovascular disease, reduces bad cholesterol levels. Contains calcium and vitamins that lower the risk of type 2 diabetes. Moderate amounts of beer can reduce your chances of developing cancer, increases bone density, and helps to prevent dementia. The bottom line is that if you're not suffering from a chronic disease and not taking medications that interfere with alcohol, the safest drinks would be a glass of beer or a glass of wine. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until we meet again, goodbye for now.
පදමට ගහලා හෙට මැරුණත් හිතට සැපයි අද ජොලි කරලා